Hello everyone, I'm Bob Jonathan. You welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. bilingual or primetime newscast on Equinox Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital. Dwelling our top stories tonight, the ambassador of Madagascar and representative to the African Union, Professor Alain Jacoba, acknowledges efforts of the Cameroon government to solve the Anglophone crisis, but says the efforts are not enough. He was speaking today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, during a visit to the Commission on the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, the Prime Ministry, and of course the Ministry of External Relations. And one of the 9 candidates to the October 7, 2018 presidential election says he will computerize the public financing system as well as the security system in the Republic of Cameroon. Prophet Frank was speaking to the press yesterday. Stay with us. The Minister of Communication and spokesperson of the Cameroon government, Issa Chiruma Bakari, has instructed the Director General of State Radio and Television, CRTV, to discard all irrelevant information from the 9 candidates who will be taking part in the October 7, 2018 presidential election. In Cameroon, he was speaking during a meeting with representatives of the candidates in Yaoundé yesterday, as Innocent as a report.
A couple of days to the opening of the electoral campaign in view of the October 7, 2018 presidential election, government defines the time duration for each presidential candidate to communicate on airwaves of Cameroon's audiovisual media.
L'objet de cette rencontre,
according to the communication minister Issa Chiruma Bakari, the objective of the come together in Yaoundé was to debate with representatives of presidential candidates to find out if they were aware of the disposition of the law that regulates time fixed for each candidate. He adds he channeled the provided law through his Secretary General, opened debates, and certain burning issues raised were accorded satisfactory answers.
Dès lors que nous leur avons trouvé des réponses satisfaisantes.
Programs to last for 2 hours shall be produced daily on radio between 8:30 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. On TV, programs to last for 1 hour shall be produced between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m. from the launching of electoral campaign. All 9 candidates shall benefit from the same time duration on air. Representatives of candidates believe there will be equity,
because we will have the same time of speech and the same time of appearance. But problem is, if you take only the broadcasting concerning propaganda, we also have news and all the other broadcasting on the public service. If you take the case of the news, you will see another candidate, which is the incumbent president, everywhere on news. Even for saluting his bodyguard, he will appear on news, you see? But us, we the candidates, the other candidates, you won't see us even saluting important people concerning important subjects or matters. You see, you won't see us on news.
Reactions have come in following possibility given to the Director General of Cameroon State Media to ban some communications.
It is an arbitrary decision, you see, because it gives the law or the right to only a man to choose whether you will be broadcast or not, you see. But the minister said it is written like this, it is stated like this in the law. So he is acting as the law says. So we hope that the general manager of the CRTV will do his job with duty concerning the equity and will respect the freedom of speech of the candidates or their representatives during the broadcasting concerning propaganda.
An audacity which has invoked regret.
We regret that this power is given to a man. It would have been better that it was an institutional or legal, or maybe by the another way of legal instrument, which those legal instruments will have been better to manage this kind of situation.
However, there is loud call for the incumbent president, Paul Biya, to, during campaign time, be treated like any other presidential candidate running the race to Itoje.
As the campaign for the October 7, 2018 presidential election draw near the date of the campaign, 24th of September 2018, presidential candidates continue unveiling their political programs or their manifestos to the public. Yesterday was the turn of Prophet Frank Afanui Ndifon of the Cameroon National Citizens Movement political party. He's one of the 9 candidates to the presidential race. And yesterday, speaking to the press at the headquarters of his party in Bonaberi Douala 4 subdivision, he highlighted some of the issues synonymous to those highlighted by the other candidates, notably referring to some identical problems affecting the nation. But one of the things that stood out, making a difference between his manifesto and those of the other candidates, is the announced computerization of the public financing system as well as the security system in the Republic of Cameroon. This is what he said on this issue.
We are going to restructure the ministerial system in Cameroon. That means we are going to reduce the number of ministries and the number of ministers in Cameroon. We are going to put on the state auditing. Auditing the state for some few reasons. We want to get the funds that will be available for us to use and start the preliminary functions in Cameroon, start ruling Cameroon with it. We want to get the debt that Cameroon is owing. We want to also know at which level Cameroon's finance is before we start our governance. The form of the state has to change. We are going in for a federal state system whereby we are going to restructure the form of the state of Cameroon into federal, different fragmented federal system, and we will have federal states, and the different states will vote. They are going to vote their governance and put it in place, and the central governing body will give it an autonomy power so that they can rule and have, confirmed activities within those states by the government. Cameroon is functioning now with a hydro electricity system. We are going to subsidize it with the wind farm systems, energy system, energy source. We're going to subsidize it with the solar panels, which are going to go a long way to supply energy within the areas whereby the hydro could not extend to. And moreover, it's going to be more cheaper. We're going to restructure the educational sector in Cameroon. We're going to renew the old infrastructures. We're going to build new and standard educational structures to befit, the current educational systems in the world.
Prophet Frank of the Cameroon National Citizens Movement political party unveiling the manifesto or his vision for the country if he is elected president come 7th of October 2018. Now we come back to the excerpt on one of the outstanding components or aspects of his political program, that is the computerization of the public financing system as well as the security system in Cameroon. Take a listen.
To take on a digitalization system. We're going to bring in a system called, every Cameroonian will be attributed a Cameroonian identity number. Every Cameroonian from birth, and those that are here now, that are already mature, you'll be awarded a Cameroonian identity number. Then foreigners will also have a lot of modalities to satisfy before they can come into having an ID, a Cameroonian identity number in our systems. Now, what are we going to use the ID number to do? This ID number will track every Cameroonian in the Cameroonian soil and every human being living in the Cameroonian soil. This ID number, if you take credit somewhere, it's going to be under your ID number. Any crime you commit somewhere is going to be under your ID number. In fact, any activity you're taking on, your location, your house, everything about you, you know, it will be your car number, everything will be incorporated under this ID number. So that anywhere you're in Cameroon, within the security systems, as they put in your ID number, they will know and have every information about you. That is part of our digitalization system. We are going to also look at digitalizing the financial system of Cameroon, so that every financial movement, money movements in Cameroon will be well tracked down, and you know, to go a long way to eliminate corruption in Cameroon. We are also going to be looking at our markets. Since we are going to digitalize the financial system of Cameroon, buying and selling will just be something very easy to do. Now, you can stay in your home and you buy and you sell from any end, you know, with your digital equipment through your phones. You can buy using your phones, you can buy using your computers, you can pay in shop using your ATM cards. Buying and selling will also be digitalized, so that, you know, we can quickly, the marketers can quickly serve the Cameroonian public with ease, and there will not be any frauds. There will, you know, fraudulent systems will be eliminated. You know, borrowing too will be eliminated, and you know, it will be done in a more professional and standardized way. We will also make sure that that system clears a lot of trouble within the marketing sector in Cameroon. We are also going to make sure that the marché centrales in Cameroon, the marché central systems in Cameroon is eliminated, because it is not showing love for human being. You know, when you go there, human being is packed like in the sardine. So illnesses are easily transmitted to people sitting just face to face, sun hitting them, they are under the sun, under the rain, they are there. So it doesn't show love for human being. So we're going to eliminate the central market system. We're going to build shopping malls in the different quarters so that they can better serve the needs of the Cameroonian public.
The ambassador of Madagascar and permanent representative to the African Union, Professor Alain Njakoba, has said the Cameroon government as well as the AU still have a lot to do to solve the Anglophone crisis that has continued deepening for close to 3 years today. He was speaking in Yaoundé, in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, today during a visit to the Commission on the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism, and speaking with the president of that commission, former Prime Minister Peter Mafani Musonge. Professor Alain Njakoba acknowledged the efforts of the Cameroon government to solve the Anglophone crisis, but said it is not yet, or they are not yet enough, and he simply indicated that he came to evaluate the efforts of the Cameroon government to solve the Anglophone crisis, and also to see where the African Union can intervene and bring some help to bring the socio-political and the security crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of the country under control. And before he visited the Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission, he was equally at the Prime Ministry and at the Ministry of External Relations. This is an extract of what he told Ike Cyril in Yaoundé.
Petition is a signal, positive signal for us to find a long-term answer to the problem. We are here mainly to evaluate the emergency response, how African Union could support following the visit by President Moussa Faki of the Commission. But it's not enough as a son of Africa just will see the emergency response. We have also to find a way how African Union could support a long-term answer. And our understanding that this institution, the Commission of Multiculturalism and Bilingualism, is one of. So that's what was very important to meet the Commission and to understand, and we will help us to see how we can support. African Union is a huge organization with many mechanisms. The office we have here is mainly in charge of agriculture and rural economy. So we realize that maybe we need a need of officer in charge of humanitarian and the Department of Political Affairs and the Department of Peace and Security, and which is not the same mechanism. So to make things as quick as possible, as simple as possible, this is one of issue we have to look very carefully.
On the sidelines of the China-Africa Summit in Beijing, we spoke to some economic experts here in the economic capital, Douala, on what the African nations stand to benefit from the economic and financial cooperation with the People's Republic of China. And they said the benefits are there, but the risks are equally there. That should be properly managed in order to extract the benefits. Details in the following report. African nations are working out strategies to extract the greatest of benefits from the China-Africa Economic Cooperation as China steps up her investment on the continent. The developing countries of Africa are in the quest for China's expertise, technical and financial strength to develop their economies in view of moving to the rank of emerging nations.
The benefits are there because China, they do invest in infrastructure. And I can tell you infrastructure is very expensive. And China also, they invest in the social aspects of the life of a nation. That is building schools, building hospitals.
We have to build our relation with more partners. And China is one of our partners. We have traditional partners, Occident, and some international partners. Then we need to diversify our partners. But China bring us some help.
For this to be achieved, experts say the enormous risk involved in international relations must be properly examined, managed and harnessed by the African countries.
Each country, each institution in the international fora, you have to defend your own interests. How do you defend your interests? By making a study of your position, of your basic needs, of your perspective, and studying the opportunities.
Our jobs is to take the time to look if all the risks are available, if all the risks can be minimized.
Critics have been warning that African countries are going into unsustainable levels of debt with China. Xi Jinping's country has offered $60 billion of additional financing for Africa. Speaking at the China-Africa Summit in Beijing, the Chinese president defended Chinese investment program in Africa, saying there are no political strings attached to the projects. Coming up, we're going to show you some roads in the country's economic capital, Douala. The roads are in a deplorable state as a result of the rainy season. Things have simply become worse. A case in point in this newscast is the Antibes neighborhood in the Douala 3 subdivision. For me, Armstrong Sander was there, and our reports.
This is the ordeal visitors and inhabitants of the Antibes neighborhood are subjected to moving in and out of their locality. The road is deplorable, extremely bad, a veritable nightmare. We are in Douala 3 subdivision. The only stretch of road linking Antibes and the rest of the subdivision has been transformed into a pool of thick and slippery mud.
The cause of this road is due to the poor drainage pattern that we have here in village. The road is really very bad, as you can see. You see water is standing everywhere. Gutters are not well fixed, they are not well opened. Water cannot circulate, and the roads, the pattern of the road is not well organized.
The road, which is in an advanced state of degradation, has rendered life a living hell to the population who ply it every day to go about their business.
You see stores are everywhere, places are very bad. cars cannot even pass. The things that the government pretend to have done, like fix the road, put ground, it has become very muddy. So we can't really tell that we are living in an environment where people can go to school. You can see children are afraid to go to school. There is just a school here that children they cannot start school this week.
Pedestrians as well as vehicle owners pull a lot of courage to brave the odds on this stretch of road. Users are exposed to accidents and the hiking transports, which are fallouts of the bad state of the road. Residents have, however, employed several initiatives to rehabilitate the stretch of road.
We are really trying to see how things can move, can go well. We are trying to open the gutters. We are trying to remove the ground that the mayors have come and put here.
The efforts, according to them, can only yield fruits and lasting solutions to their problem if the local authorities come on board.
For me, Armstrong Sanda was equally in the Nyala neighborhood, still in the Douala 3 subdivision, where the deplorable state of roads in that neighborhood is making the movement of persons and the circulation of vehicles more of an uphill task. It's quite difficult to move around in that neighborhood, as she presents in this report.
On a modest standing water, a good number of vehicles who dare ply the stretch of road leading to Japuma and Yasa through Nyala in Douala 3 subdivision end up in this state. Heavy duty trucks, minibuses as well as motorbikes all suffer the same fate. The extremely bad state of the road has been a nightmare to users over a considerable period.
You can see for yourself how an entire neighborhood has been cut off from the rest of the city. I doubt if those so-called authorities ply this road. This is bad. Even the road that leads to my village in Yokaduma is not this bad.
The third surface that used to be here some years ago is inexistent. Users go through hell plying this stretch of road every day. Drivers and riders fight over the limited available space with pedestrians. Some of them, out of pity for pedestrians or professional consciousness, are obliged to baptize their vehicles in the pool of standing water. Some road users prefer to trek across what they qualify as a nightmare. Locals also complain of bad business and frequent accidents on this stretch. The incessant cry of the population of Nala and users of this stretch of road that leads on one end to the Japuma Sports Complex, one of the sites to host a poll of the AFCON 2019 Jamboree, pushed the Douala City Council to respond with what some have qualified as a temporary rehabilitation project. Trucks, bulldozers and compactors of the Douala City Council could be seen working on the laterite that was brought in to fill the potholes. Some inhabitants of Nyala and users of this unbearable stretch of road say the rehabilitation works, which began over the weekend, is not well done. They complain of poor drainage system, which according to them will warrant the stagnation of water, consequently creating another problem.
Now we take you to Government Technical High School in Koteng in the central region of the Republic of Cameroon, where back to school for the 2018-2019 academic year has been plagued by the lack of social needs, including potable water. Franklin Mwabi reports.
There is no time to waste. In Government Technical High School in Koteng, back to school was effective from day one, the 3rd of September, with no absence recorded.
Des documents, c'est commerciaux, LODC et comptabilité.
Nous avons dit aux élèves que l'école a effectivement commencé.
We have told the students that school has started effectively. We will not wait till next month to effectively start like schools in some towns.
L'école a commencé.
Though classes just started, some students decry the problems faced in this institution.
Comme difficulté que nous avons ici en Koteng. One of the difficulties we face here in Government Technical High School Koteng is the absence of libraries and bookshops. We have problems accessing textbooks, which pushes us to go to town to buy textbooks and to read from the libraries in town.
Apart from the absence of bookshops and libraries, Koteng lacks good and portable water, which causes the students and teachers to drink from doubtful sources. The outcome is that they are exposed to diseases which negatively affects their performance.
Nous sommes entre deux villes, mais les deux villes sont dotées de l'eau courante.
We are between two towns which have access to potable water, but Koteng, which is in the middle, does not have water. We are only managing.
Fait creuser un puits aménagé.
While waiting for the situation to change, the students and teachers of Koteng are obliged to continue managing in order to survive.
Commerciaux, et comptabilité.
And ahead of the physiotherapy day that will be coming up on the 8th of this month, some physiotherapists converge here in the economic capital Douala to discuss the importance and the cardinal importance, of course, of that medical specialty. And they told reporters that even though it is at the baseline, or better still at the bottom of the ladder as far as the medical world is concerned, it is very important and even indispensable as far as human health is concerned. And this is what some of the physiotherapists told us. We'll not be having that extract in this newscast. Thanks for staying with us. We'll be coming back tomorrow with more news. Goodbye.